Listen, I want to say the Patriots, but you're still leaning on the fact that, think about this, they went into Buffalo and won the game without putting the game in the hands of Mac Jones. He's still a baby. Still a puppy that has to learn some of the intricate details of how to win the big games and how to win in the National Football League. I think it's a great story. I think this New England Patriots team is a great story. But if I'm looking at conventional wisdom in my approach as to who's the best right now, who has the most opportunity or the best chance to win it out of the AFC, it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought it was a situation where it was broken, guys, but as of late, they've shown that they can now put the points on the board once again. And the one thing that I think is most dangerous about this Kansas City Chiefs team, where we're at right now, is they've learned to lean more on their defense and winning ugly games during the course of this season than what they've had to do under under Patrick Mahomes' time as the starting quarterback of this team. I think it makes them a more balanced, well-rounded team moving forward. They now know that they can win ugly games versus blowing them out. So I think you got to go with the Chiefs, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah, of course you do. That's obviously the right answer. And I'd never heard it put that way. I like the McCorkle-Jones as a puppy analogy. I mean, we could take it further. He won't bite your ankles like a puppy would, but he might twist them, claiming you have the football on a wildly dirty play. We can continue this further as the season goes along. But so here, so here's the thing about this question. There is a team in the AFC that scares me a little bit. It's not the Patriots. So if we're talking about where to put your money, the Chargers at 10-1 are a far, far better bet than the Patriots at 3 1/3 to 1. The Chargers, while neither Mac Jones nor Justin Herbert have won a playoff game or played in a playoff game, Justin Herbert, you saw from the game he played yesterday or Sunday to his rookie season, this season, all of it. Justin Herbert strikes fear in the hearts of defenses, even the best defense in football, which the Kansas City Chiefs have been for the last 2 months. So if I'm ranking, as far as fear I would have about an opponent for the Chiefs, the Chargers would be one. In a weird way, maybe it's just because they beat them so soundly earlier this year. The Bills, if they were to get right, would probably be 2. And then the Patriots would be 3rd. The Patriots, you can't beat the Chiefs trying to play the way the Patriots want to play. You just can't. You're not beating them 17-14. And the Chiefs can play in bad weather and throw in bad weather like we've seen it. So, no, to me, this is a non-event. I'm not going to act as if there is not a team in the AFC that causes some trepidation from me. That's the team the Chiefs play Thursday night. It's not the New England Patriots.
Okay. I will, look, if you guys in your defense roll over the Chargers, I will pull a Shaq on Hot Ones. I'll just be like, oh, I apologize, Kansas City. I am sorry I doubted you. You guys are actually a very hot defense. But, and I know I'm a bad guy, Broussard, I haven't been overly impressed when you shut down Daniel Jones and Jordan Love. I'm just not. I know the numbers are there, but I think the opponents haven't quite been up to snuff. Here's the other thing about the baby
goat. Play the hardest schedule in football.
Because I get the argument. They played Jordan Love. Stop saying that. It's the most ridiculous argument that you make. It's like saying, I've got a Lamborghini.
That's one game.
Yeah,
Wilds, they play him every week.
But it counts as a Lamborghini.
Wilds, did they play him every week?
Gracious.
We played 14 games. Hold on a second. Wait a second. We played 14 games. How many games y'all played against Zach Wilson? I'm just curious. And Davis Mills. LaVar, we do that on this show. It's not a problem. I'm just curious, Wilds. How many times? Exactly. So zip it with the idea that the Chiefs' entire stretch of great defense was against Jordan Love. It wasn't, but go ahead.
What is your team going to do?
Thing, and the Packers is a different team. In any event, Broussard, here's the issue. What everyone thinks is a weakness for the Patriots is actually a strength. Let me repeat it. Everyone who thinks what our weakness is actually our strength. You know why? It's the difference between fighting a boxer and an MMA fighter. We know who the Chiefs are. We know you guys got the better quarterback, you got the better wide receiver, you got the better tight end. You don't have the better defense. And we have the rookie quarterback. But here's the thing. The Chiefs are the boxer and we're the MMA fighter that can box. So, look, if we're in a boxing match, we'll probably lose. But guess what Bill Belichick does? What you're not expecting. The Patriots can win in several different ways, and the Chiefs can win one way. The Chiefs can win one way. So Nick will say, "Oh, you can't. You're not going to be able to beat the. You're not going to be able to beat the Chiefs 17-14." Oh, really? I could have sworn Bruce Arians and Tom Brady just literally did that. They literally beat you exactly how the Patriots want to beat you. How are you going to beat the Patriots? Oh, well, we're gonna pressure Mac Jones. Like, all right, we'll just run the ball the entire game. We can beat you by throwing 3 times. We can beat you by throwing the ball 33 times. Maybe we'll run for 222 yards. Maybe we'll run for -1 yard and lose by 4 inches to the Bucs. There's a ton of different ways the Patriots can beat you because Belichick is a genius. There's really 1 or 2 ways the Chiefs can beat you. They're going to play good defense, hopefully against the Raiders, and Patrick Mahomes should play well. If Patrick Mahomes doesn't play well, the Chiefs go down the tubes. So that's why put your money on the Patriots.
Ifs and fifths.
I don't understand any.
Okay, look, Wilds, I would like to go with you because you're trying really hard. You came up with a nice argument. It sounds good. You know, it made a little bit of sense, but it's the Chiefs, clearly. And I like the Patriots. I think they are the second best team in the AFC. I also think, Nick, a dangerous team, if they get into the tournament, could be Indianapolis. All right, watch out for the Colts,
there you go.
too. But
go.
It's the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. And I do think the Patriots have the better defense. Even though the Chiefs is really good, I give a slight edge to the Patriots. Obviously, though, the quarterback situation is lopsided. As much as I like Mac Jones, it's clearly Patrick Mahomes. I said it yesterday. I'll repeat it. They could be more dangerous because they're more balanced now. Mahomes is a little more patient. He's a smarter quarterback. And I think the running game is coming along with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Nick, I will say this. I want to see, I'm really watching the Chiefs closely over the next couple weeks. Remember I told you yesterday, slow down a little bit. Because if we really look at them over the last few weeks offensively, they have been awesome against the Raiders. And for some reason, the Raiders don't like to run a lot of cover 2. All right, but that's the defense that, I'm not saying it totally stops the Chiefs, but that's the defense that's giving them trouble. And against other teams, they haven't lit up the scoreboard the way they have against the Raiders. I assume they're going to see more cover 2 over the next few weeks. I want to see the offense continue to play well against that defense before I really feel like the Chiefs are totally back.
No, listen, that's fair, which is why I think some people, I'm not one of these people, some people think previous iterations of the Chiefs were better than this one. Luckily, in this discussion, they're compared to a team that just threw the ball 3 times. So whatever defensive machinations the opponent comes up with, I think the Chiefs are going to be at least a plus EV in the passing game. But LaVar, I guess I just don't know what football season Wilds has been watching. But I guess I do know, because the answer is last season. Because his example of how to beat the Chiefs 17-14 was last year's Super Bowl, which has as much relevance to this year's team as pulling out the Patriots games from last year. None whatsoever. This idea, LaVar, that, there's only one way for the Chiefs to win. Mahomes has to be great. Buddy, you've been telling me all year Mahomes hadn't been great. They're 9-4. They're winning. I've been told the problem with the Chiefs is they're winning with their defense. So it just, to me, it's nonsensical. So this is an obvious question to everyone who, is not a Patriot fan or a Mac Jones relative.
No, I think Spagnuolo has done an excellent job with that defense. And again, to your point, Brew, It is the Colts that you got to be watching now. The question said between the Chiefs and the Pats. So I'm okay with that. Nick, you brought up the Chargers. I don't trust them. And it's because I think that Herbert is still young. I think he's still learning. And I think it's more of a on-the-fly thing with a new, first-year head coach. I think that they have to deal with what their issues are going to be. But when I look at the teams out there outside of the Pats and the Chiefs, it is the Colts. And the reason why I say the Colts, it's almost like if you really think about it, the Colts defense is as good as any defense out there, and they're starting to play well. Leonard and those guys have really started to apply themselves. You got the best running back in the game right now, Jonathan Taylor. And all Carson Wentz really has to do is manage the situation because he's got he's got a healthy group. His line is looking pretty good. Yeah. They got weapons at receiver with Pittman and others and T.Y. I think the Colts are the most dangerous team in the AFC the way they're playing right now. But again, if you're going to go back to who you think is the one that you put your hat on, your money on, and you can sleep at night, it's got to be the Chiefs right now today.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.